The year is 1396. Imagine a vast plain stretching as far as the eye can see under a clear azure sky. The air is thick with anticipation and the distant sound of clashing metal. The sun beats down on a scene of incredible drama, casting long shadows over the battlefield. The heat is almost unbearable, adding to the tension that hangs in the air. Two massive armies face each other, their banners fluttering in the wind. The ground trembles under the weight of thousands of soldiers, each one ready to fight to the death. On one side, the flower of European chivalry, resplendent in their shining armor. These knights have trained their entire lives for this moment, their hearts filled with a sense of duty and honor. They have come to save Christendom from a new threat, their banners adorned with the cross, a symbol of their unwavering faith and determination. On the other side, the terrifying might of the Ottoman Empire, their soldiers disciplined and formidable. The crescent moon on their banners represents their own unyielding resolve. This is the story of the Battle of Nicopolis, a clash that would decide the fate of empires. The air is filled with the sounds of battle cries and the clash of swords. The Battle of Nicopolis was one of the most significant battles of the medieval era, a turning point that would shape the future of Europe and the Middle East. It marked a turning point in the long struggle between the Christian West and the Islamic East, a conflict that had been brewing for centuries. The outcome of this battle would have profound consequences for centuries to come, influencing the course of history in ways that are still felt today. This essay will explore the background of this epic confrontation, the key players involved and the lasting impact it had on the course of history. We will delve into the lives of the leaders who commanded these armies, their strategies, and their motivations. It will delve into the strategies employed, the heroism displayed, and the ultimate consequences of this momentous clash of civilizations. Through maps and reenactments, we will bring to life the tactics and bravery that defined this historic battle. In the 14th century, a new power was rising in the East. The world was witnessing the dawn of a formidable empire that would shape the course of history for centuries to come. The Ottoman Turks, under a series of ambitious sultans, were rapidly expanding their empire. Their disciplined soldiers, adorned with the crescent and star, marched with an unyielding resolve. They had conquered vast swathes of territory in Anatolia and the Balkans. These lands, rich in resources and strategically vital, became the foundation of their burgeoning empire. They were a powerful military force with a well-trained army and a thirst for conquest. Their military camps buzzed with activity as soldiers honed their skills and prepared for the next campaign. The Ottomans were led by Sultan Bayezid I, known as the Thunderbolt. His leadership was marked by both brilliance and brutality, earning him a fearsome reputation. He was a brilliant military strategist and a ruthless ruler. Bayezid's tactical acumen and relentless ambition drove the Ottomans to new heights of power and influence. Bayezid was determined to conquer Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire, and make it the jewel of his empire. The city's majestic skyline and formidable walls stood as both a challenge and a prize. The Byzantine Empire, once a mighty power, was now a shadow of its former self. Its grand structures lay in ruins, a testament to its decline. It was weakened by internal strife and external threats. Political infighting and external pressures had eroded its strength, leaving it vulnerable to the Ottoman onslaught. The Ottomans had the Byzantine capital under siege, and its fall seemed imminent. The relentless siege warfare tested the resolve of both the defenders and the attackers. The Ottomans posed a serious threat to the Christian kingdoms of Europe. The spectre of Ottoman expansion loomed large over the continent, causing great concern among European rulers. The fall of Constantinople would be a devastating blow to Christendom. It would not only signify the loss of a key city, but also a spiritual and cultural defeat. It would open the way for further Ottoman expansion into Europe. The roads and pathways leading into the heart of the continent would be vulnerable to Ottoman advances. The Pope called for a crusade to stop the Ottoman advance. This call to arms was a desperate attempt to unite the Christian kingdoms against a common enemy. Across Europe, the call to arms resonated. Kings, princes, and knights answered the summons. They saw it as their sacred duty to defend Christendom. An army of Crusaders assembled in Hungary led by King Sigismund. The Crusader army was a diverse force made up of soldiers from all over Europe. There were French, English, German, Hungarian and Wallachian contingents. Each group brought its own fighting styles and equipment. The Crusaders were eager to confront the Ottomans. They were confident in their own strength and the righteousness of their cause. They believed that God was on their side and that they would be victorious. The Crusaders set out on their long journey to the east. They marched through Hungary and into Bulgaria. Their goal was to reach Nicopolis, a strategic city on the Danube River. Despite their shared faith, the Crusaders were a divided force. The unity that one might expect from a group bound by a common religious cause was conspicuously absent. Instead, the Crusader camp was a hotbed of discord and disagreement. There were tensions between the different national contingents. Knights from France, England, Germany, and other regions each brought their own customs, languages, and rivalries to the battlefield. These differences often led to misunderstandings and conflicts. Each contingent had its own leaders, its own objectives, and its own ways of waging war. This lack of a unified command structure made coordinated efforts difficult, if not impossible. The leaders often clashed over strategy and tactics, further deepening the divisions. The French knights, in particular, were known for their arrogance and their belief in their own superiority. They saw themselves as the natural leaders of the crusade, often dismissing the contributions and opinions of others. The French knights wanted to attack the Ottomans head-on. They believed that a direct assault would quickly bring them victory and glory. Their confidence in their heavy armor and charging cavalry was unshakable. They believed that their heavy armor and their charging cavalry would be invincible. This overconfidence blinded them to the realities of the battlefield and the strengths of their enemy. The more experienced leaders, like King Sigismund and his Hungarian advisors, urged caution. They had faced the Ottomans before and knew that underestimating them would be a grave mistake. They advocated for a more measured approach. They knew the Ottomans were a formidable foe. The Ottomans had a well-organized and disciplined army, skilled in both traditional and unconventional warfare. The Hungarian leaders understood the importance of reconnaissance and strategic planning. They favored a more cautious approach, using reconnaissance and strategy to their advantage. They believed that understanding the enemy's movements and intentions was crucial for any chance of success. The French knights, however, refused to listen. Their desire for immediate action and their disdain for what they saw as overly cautious tactics led them to dismiss the advice of their more experienced allies. They were eager for glory and plunder. The promise of riches and honor drove them to push for an aggressive strategy, despite the risks involved. They accused the Hungarians of cowardice. The French knights saw the Hungarian caution as a lack of bravery, further straining the already fragile alliances within the Crusader ranks. The divisions within the Crusader ranks would prove to be a fatal flaw. The lack of unity and the constant infighting weakened their overall effectiveness and made them vulnerable to their enemies. It would play right into the hands of the cunning Ottoman Sultan. The Ottomans were quick to exploit the Crusaders' disunity, using it to their strategic advantage and ultimately leading to the Crusaders' downfall. Section 5 of the first assault, the Crusaders arrived at Nicopolis and laid siege to the city. The Ottoman army, led by Bayezid himself, marched to relieve the siege. The two armies met on a battlefield outside the city walls. The Crusaders were surprised by the size and strength of the Ottoman army. They had underestimated their enemy. The French knights, true to their nature, charged headlong into the Ottoman ranks. Their initial assault was successful. They broke through the first lines of Ottoman soldiers, who were lightly armed. Their confidence soared as they cut through the enemy ranks. For a moment it seemed as if the Crusaders might achieve a swift victory. Their overconfidence would prove to be their undoing. Bayezid had anticipated the Crusaders' reckless charge. He had concealed his elite troops behind the front lines. As the French knights charged deeper into the Ottoman ranks, they were surrounded. The elite Ottoman troops, armed with scimitars and bows, unleashed a devastating counterattack. The French knights, exhausted and outnumbered, were cut down mercilessly. The other Crusader contingents, witnessing the French disaster, hesitated. This hesitation proved fatal. The Ottomans pressed their attack and the Crusader army collapsed. King Sigismund and a handful of his followers barely escaped. The Battle of Nicopolis was a resounding Ottoman victory. The defeat at Nicopolis was a disaster for the Crusaders. Thousands of knights were killed or captured. The flower of European chivalry lay dead or dying on the battlefield. The Christian world was in shock. The defeat had exposed the divisions and weaknesses of Europe. The Ottoman victory had far-reaching consequences. It cemented Ottoman dominance in the Balkans for centuries to come. It also emboldened the Ottomans. They now had a free hand in the region. The Battle of Nicopolis marked a turning point in the decline of the Byzantine Empire. Without the support of its Western allies, the Byzantine Empire was left vulnerable to the Ottoman threat. The Ottoman victory at Nicopolis had a profound impact on the course of history. It marked the beginning of the end for the Byzantine Empire. In 1453, just over half a century after the Battle of Nicopolis, the Ottomans finally achieved their long-held ambition. They captured Constantinople. The fall of Constantinople sent shockwaves through Europe. It marked the end of the Roman Empire, which had lasted for over 1,500 years. It also ushered in a new era of Ottoman dominance in the eastern Mediterranean. The Ottoman Empire would continue to expand for centuries after the Battle of Nicopolis. It would eventually control vast territories in Southeast Europe, Western Asia, and North Africa. The Battle of Nicopolis was a clash of civilizations. It was a battle between two powerful empires, each vying for supremacy. The Ottoman victory had a profound impact on the course of history. The battle marked a turning point in the decline of the Byzantine Empire. It also ushered in a new era of Ottoman dominance in the eastern Mediterranean. The echoes of that fateful day in 1396 can still be felt today. The Battle of Nicopolis serves as a reminder of the importance of unity and the high cost of overconfidence.